I didn't plan the line. It just slipped out like a dare I thought the universe would refuse. If you don't fight for me, then maybe this isn't real, I said, arms crossed, chin lifted the way I'd seen in 100 messy TikToks. Jordan looked at me for a long second and said, okay. No speech. No baby please. No movie scene sprint in the rain. He stood, slid his spare house key off my ring, set it on the counter next to the lemon sugar candle he hates, and asked, do you want me to Venmo for the electric or just pay it through the portal one last time? Like we just finished a project meeting, not 3 years of our lives. I'm Anna. A Filipina-American who has always, regrettably, needed to feel a little bit chased to feel loved. Jordan is the guy women say they can't find. Black 31, patient, funny when he isn't trying, says I'll handle it, and then actually does. He cooks real food. He likes Sunday morning jazz. When my radiator squealed all winter, he bought a little humidifier and said, it's the air, not the universe. The first time I cried on his couch he didn't start fixing. He handed me a glass of water and asked, do you want a solution or company? I should have married him right there. Instead, I decided to run a loyalty test I didn't tell him about. It started stupid. A text he didn't answer for 29 minutes. I watched the delivered, and then the read, and then the nothing. He was in a staff meeting. The recurring calendar block literally says all hands. And I knew it. My brain, which has never needed facts to make fiction, wrote a short story about him getting bored of me. By the time he called after, I had proof. Hey beautiful, he said. Sorry, the Q3 deck was a crime scene. Must have been fun, I said flat. Define fun, he laughed. You okay? Are you? I shot back. Because lately it seems like I'm the only one who cares. He blinked. We're talking about the 30 minutes I was in a meeting. We didn't talk about my week. The client who thought ASAP meant yesterday. The Uber driver who kept the wrong turn like a pet. The way my mother's voice goes very quiet when she's disappointed. I was full of a loneliness I didn't name, and I wanted him to reach in and pull it out without me saying the words. 2 nights later he got home from his run sweaty and happy, and I picked that moment to detonate. I feel like you're coasting, I announced as he was unlacing his shoes. If you wanted me, you'd make it obvious. He looked up, confused. Do I not make it obvious? You don't chase, I said, like a prosecutor with a chart. I want to feel chosen. Fought for. I shouldn't have to ask. He wiped his face with the hem of his t-shirt and took a beat, the way he does when he's trying not to argue with the worst version of me. What would fighting look like, he asked. You tell me, I snapped. If you don't even know, that's the problem. I do not recommend this tactic. We ate pasta in a silence that felt like muted commercials. He washed the dishes. I waited for him to storm back in and demand answers. He didn't. He sat on the sofa and opened the city permit application we'd been trading revisions on, because he was trying to get his dad's old barbershop through renovations by summer. He said, you want to talk when you're not hot? I said, if you cared I wouldn't be hot, which is a sentence that doesn't mean anything unless you've decided it does. The next afternoon I said the line. If you don't fight for me, then maybe this isn't real. He paused long enough that I felt the tiniest spark of victory. This, I told myself, is the part where he realizes what he's about to lose and gives a speech that ends with, I'll do anything. Instead, okay. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't point to the calendar where he'd already booked us a long weekend to the coast in September. He didn't list the photos on his phone of my ridiculous dog making ridiculous faces, because he knows those pictures make me laugh when I think I can't. He didn't argue that everything I'd felt was a story my panic wrote with a Sharpie. He simply accepted the rule I'd just invented and chose not to play. Do you want the boxes from the closet? He asked. I had no answer. He took a set out, folded, stacked, taped. He moved the lemon sugar candle to a safe corner, like even now he wouldn't risk wax dripping on a countertop I can't afford to replace. He pulled the coat he'd left here from the hook in. Here's the part that burned. Sent me a text titled Logistics. Rent. I'll cancel my auto transfer for next month. Utilities. I'll pay the electric through EOM. Please remove my login after. Dog. I'll return the extra leash Saturday when I drop the spare keys. Mail. I'll update USPS. If anything arrives with my name, text me and I'll pick up from front desk. Barbershop. City sent a notice for Friday inspection. I'll be there, no need to wait for me. He sent it while he was still in the apartment, so I wouldn't have to rehearse my, when you have a minute, voice. He left the key on the counter. I stared at it the way you stare at a tooth you've just pulled. Fascinated and stunned by the fact that your body will do such a thing under pressure. He didn't block me immediately. He sent one more message that said, I don't want a war. If you want to talk when this isn't a test, I'll listen. If this is goodbye, be gentle with yourself. I was not gentle. I wrote a novella in my notes app called Reasons I'm Right. I read it to my friend Priya, who said carefully, do you want real or tender? I said both. She said, real, you gave him a hoop and then got mad he didn't jump through it. Tender, I love you. You're not unlovable. But you're trying to build intimacy with manufactured emergencies. I hated how quickly I recognized the truth in my bones. Then came the worst thing that can happen to a person who wants drama. The world kept going. He didn't call. He also didn't subtweet. He didn't tell our mutual friends. When I told them, they said, oh man, that sucks, and didn't pick a side because there wasn't one to pick. He didn't date immediately. He went to therapy like a boring person who intends to stay sane. He posted nothing but sneakers and a picture of his dad smiling in front of a freshly painted shop window that said Harris and Son in gold. The ampersand made his father cry. Meanwhile, I tried to rewind. I texted, I overacted. He replied, I hear you. I wrote, I'm scared you'll leave if I'm not exciting. He wrote, exciting is overrated. Kind is better. I left my own key on my counter to see what it looked like. It looked like a mistake. 2 weeks in, I called and asked thinly, are you really done? I'm done being graded on tests I didn't know I was taking, he said not unkindly. If you want to build something without hidden rules, I'm here. If you want chasing, I'm not your guy. I wanted to say, that's the chase, because my brain sometimes confuses boundaries with foreplay, but I kept the words where they belonged. Inside my mouth. The day his inspection passed, he texted a photo of the official sticker on the window and 2 thumbs-up emojis like a dad. I caught a detail I'd never noticed before. His hands shake a tiny bit when he's proud. I wanted my hands to stop shaking because of me. We met for coffee at a place with yellow chairs and sad scones. He looked tired but not broken. I want to apologize without a comma, I said. No, but I set up a test because I was scared and I wanted to provoke you into proving something I should have believed because you said it every day. He looked relieved, like he'd been waiting for me to switch to his language. Thank you, he said. I don't like how it felt to have love framed as a performance review. I don't want to twist myself into a version of me that fails fewer secret exams. Can we try again? I asked, tiny voice, a creature in both my chest and my throat. He took a long breath. We can try to be honest with each other, he said. But I'm not resuming like you paused Netflix. If we date again, it's slow. Different. And if we don't, it's not because I want to punish you. It's because I don't want to live like that. I nodded and cried, mortified. He handed me napkins and told me about the barber chairs he'd found on Facebook Marketplace that smelled like the 70s and possibility. We did not get back together. Not really. We went for 2 walks. We laughed once in the way that makes your ribs hurt. He invited me to the barbershop opening because he is either a saint or a person who refuses to curdle. I brought flowers from the bodega and hugged his father, who said, that boy of mine is steady, like a weather report in a good year. I realized I loved him most when he was not performing for me at all. A month later, I saw him on a Saturday morning walking to the shop with a woman who wore a yellow dress and no makeup and looked like Sunday feels when it's quiet. He stopped to say hi. He introduced us. I shook her hand and wanted to tell her to take care of him, but he was already doing that for himself. He wins because he didn't audition. He set the rule I should have set for myself. No love that requires me to fail to be believed. He didn't post quotes or revenge lift. He painted a sign with his dad and opened the door on time. He kept his apartment, his sleep schedule, his Sundays. He kept his peace. I keep a note in my phone now that says ask for what you want out loud and underneath, 3 bullet points. I'm feeling insecure. Can you reassure me? I want more planned time. Can we pick a night each week? Please tell me when I'm being unfair. I'll try again. That list is my apology in action. I don't send tests anymore. If a man needs hoops to prove it's love, he's not my person. If I need hoops, I'm not yet mine. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. She tried a secret loyalty test, and he chose boundaries over a performance. Lesson: if you need to be chased to feel loved, ask for closeness. Don't manufacture a crisis. He kept his dignity, his routine, and his peace. If you liked this video, please subscribe for more. Thanks and see y'all tomorrow.